2 weeks of the NFL season are already over, and it's time to make assumptions and draw unrealistic conclusions after this low sample size of NFL games. There have already been so many insane moments this year, so today we're going to be talking about the craziest storylines and biggest surprises so far this season. And I can assure you, there are a lot of them. Let's start on a high note with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who have been great this year. Most of the success can be attributed to Baker Mayfield, as he looks like his old self again. Now this start might be a bit of a fluke, but there's still a lot to be optimistic about for the Bucs. Mike Evans has been incredible and their defense has done their thing. I honestly hope that the Buccaneers can keep the success going, but their schedule is going to get difficult over the next few weeks. But either way, Baker Mayfield has been a top 5 to 10 quarterback over 2 weeks, which is something that just about no one expected. Let's talk about a team that should be 2-0 right now, but is 0-2, the LA Chargers. Man, this team really goes through the same thing every year. They look outstanding in every game, but just find a way to screw it up. They just can never close out games, and honestly, it's starting to piss me off, and I'm not even a Chargers fan. The Chargers have a couple difficult games over the next few weeks, and I know they'll keep the games close, but I have just about no confidence in them winning if any of these games end up being close. A similar team to the LA Chargers is the Minnesota Vikings. A team so talented, but just take themselves out of games. The whole thing with this team last year was that they were winning every close game that they played in, which is not happening so far this year. However, I think this team still has hope simply because of how many talented players they have. But right now, it's not looking good. Let's get back to another team that is surprising us, but in a good way. The Atlanta Falcons are 2-0, but both of these wins have been against first-year starting quarterbacks. But either way, the Falcons are pretty young themselves and have been pretty impressive. The Falcons' run game has been great, and Desmond Ridder has made some plays. But just like the Buccaneers, the Falcons also have a couple of really difficult games ahead of them. But if they can perform well in these games, the team is a serious threat to compete with the Buccaneers and possibly the Saints for the division title. The first 5.5 quarters of the season for the Bengals were a complete disaster, especially offensively. The Bengals are starting 0-2 for the second straight year. I would be more worried right now, but the Bengals seem to have turned it around in the second half versus the Ravens. So what can we say about this team moving forward? Well, right now, it's pretty unpredictable. They need to get Jamar Chase more involved, which I'm sure they'll do, but they have put themselves in a tough position to start this year. The team with the wildest start to the year might just be the New York Giants. In week 1, they got absolutely
hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
And then they went down by 21 points in week 2 versus the Cardinals. But somehow, someway, they made an insane comeback to win the game. Now what does this mean for the Giants? Well, their division is damn near impossible for them to win, and their schedule is difficult, but they still have hope after this incredible victory. This comeback by the Giants might not have even been the most wild comeback of week 2. The Washington Commanders are 2-0, and they found a way to make a comeback and then hold on to win against the Broncos. This team has already been tested, but I think the next 2 games they play versus the Bills and Eagles will really tell us if they're legit. There were also 2 Monday Night Football games that I honestly couldn't really watch much of, so all I can really say is prayers up for Nick Chubb because this injury was horrific, and I hope he can come back stronger. Seeing one of the most consistent running backs of the past half decade go down with such a terrible injury is just sad. But either way, those are all the big teams that I wanted to talk about in this week's review. I know I didn't cover a lot of games and teams such as the Cowboys getting off to the best start possible, the Eagles starting 2-0, the Packers having a good start to the year, the Broncos starting 0-2, the Colts are looking very impressive despite losing Anthony Richardson and not having Jonathan Taylor, the Lions and Seahawks had a shootout in week 2 for the second straight year, the Bills bounced back after a rough week 1 loss, and there's still so much more to talk about. But there's still 15 weeks left, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more to talk about. And I'll be making videos like this one throughout the year, so let me know in the comments what teams you want me to talk about in the next video. But for now, the season is off to a great start, and I'm excited for what's still to come. If you want to see more videos like this throughout the year, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.